Well, my friends, we've made it to IMTS 2024. I was just in Korea, it felt like, with my buddy Bob here. We're on the Hwacheon booth, and we're about to give you a tour. Yes, a whole bunch of machines, bigger than they've ever brought, and a couple of world releases here at IMTS, here in the U.S. market. Yeah, Bob, I'm excited. I'm excited to share with the audience, and what a great TV screen you have here.
We're trying to entertain and educate at the same time.
Well, you're doing a wonderful job at that. Let's give an overview of what we're about to see as we dive into this booth tour. What can we get excited about for everyone watching right now?
Yeah, this time we're debuting two premier machines. Our new horizontal going after the semiconductor market, automotive, and so forth. So it's a really nice machine. We're very proud of it. And also our I2, which is a B-axis machine, or turning center. So it's a turn mill, and we're super excited about that. But we also have a behemoth in the booth too.
Yeah, you do. And I'm excited about that. I want to show the audience, but before we get there, something I know about Hwacheon, something I know about you is when you create a relationship, a partnership, this is important. It is where you connect with a person, with a company, to make sure you're going to be there long term. For me, when I walk around, I see machines and I think about Hwacheon, I go, this is the company people want to work with because they can call you any day. They can call one of your colleagues any day. I heard one of your amazing partners out there say, you know what I love about Hwacheon? No matter what day I call, what time I call, from the bottom to the middle to the top, I can talk to anybody I need to at any time to make sure I'm taken care of. And that's what you guys do.
Yeah, absolutely. We believe in that clear communication, right? An open door with our customer. We listen to our customer, and they want something changed, we do that. We give them a perfect solution. So we're super excited about that. Our relationships with our customers are so strong, and our dealer partners as well.
Yeah, let's go ahead and invite the audience over to the first machine. As we do that, Bob, I just want to tell you how much fun we had in Korea. Talking about those partnerships, we went to your foundry. So when you're talking about we can make something for a custom-made partner that needs a solution that they can't find other places, you are cost competitive, you are time sensitive, you take care of those clients. I've seen it firsthand at your foundry where the quality is there, and you've been doing that for a long time.
Right. You know, this is, I started coming to IMTS right around '86, and I've been to the IMTS ever since. And I've been to other factories as well, and Hwacheon is a different animal. Just completely different, very personable. It feels like a family, and that's how they treat their employees and their customers. They want long-term partnership with their customers.
And we've done enough interviews with you guys. It's not just you and I saying that today. It's your partners out there, video after video after video, saying that they feel like family. Yes. So let's dive into the machines. I'm looking at a 5-axis machine here, right, Bob?
Yes. You know, we have two categories of the 5-axis. We say the D series. We have a D2 and a D3, and then the M series. The M series is my premier 5-axis machines, and this is our M1. Absolutely fantastic for like the medical industry, micro machining, you know, military defense. It's a special kind of machine. It's very high precision. This one happens to have a 20,000 RPM, but we can go even higher. Fantastic in dynamics, the kinematics on the machine. It's a front-facing trunnion, which gives you the opportunity to completely automate it through the side of the machine. So again, a premier machine, you're looking for accuracy, complex machining, obviously. And one other point I want to make is we put as a standard our new Harmony control on this machine. The Harmony control is a PC-based, and it has loads of technology built in there. Simulation, crash protection, automatic programming. There's a cam system built into it. It is a fantastic control. We're super excited about that, and we're actually have some displays around the booth talking about the Harmony technology, which can be applied to any of our machines.
It's a great way to segue into, let's talk a little bit more about Harmony, Bob. You and I have done this on camera probably 3, 4, 5 times. I think it's important to talk about again. When we think about what a standard system might look like or what it's capable of. Let's just step out of that box and go, now we're in harmony, right? Now we don't have those headaches and stresses. Now we're in harmony. What, for the audience out there who's learning about this for the first time, even though you and I have talked about this several times, what really separates that harmony system from everything else that's out there right now?
Well, first of all, it's a new modern look.
It's beautiful that way.
You know, it's a 19-inch display screen here. It's all touch screen, so that the generation with the iPhones and your technology like that, it's very intuitive, right? So you can get right into the control. We say 3 days, you're programming parts, complex parts with the Harmony. So that's a big difference there. But the other area, what I love on this is the crash protection. There's a simulation function, especially for 5-axis. You know, you got complex angles, you got to avoid crashing the tool. Not just the tool tip, but actually the holder itself into the workpiece or the fixture. We have a full simulation on here to prevent all that. It's almost crash proof. I mean, you can crash anything.
Yeah, I would put that to the test probably in my machining days. But when I think about that, Bob, immediately in my conversation, in my head that I have with all the voices that are up there, right? But out loud with you is, we all know the buzzwords of labor shortages and skills gap and getting people into the industry. But in doing so, it's a work in progress, and we must build this educational platform in order to do that. But overnight, we're not gonna have someone that can walk up to this machine, 5-axis, go, I'm ready to go, right? So having crash protection and almost foolproof crash protection, to me, that's how you invest in a machine and can invest in training and not have to be stressed out every day that this machine might need to be replaced tomorrow, the next day,
Absolutely.
because of these crashes. That saves so much time and money all on its own.
Right, you're protecting your spindle, the most expensive point on the machine, and you know, the work holding, the workpiece. You don't want to damage the workpiece because many times these complex parts are very expensive. So you're saving on your investment, your machine investment and also your work investment. Very important. And you know, we can take that new generation coming into manufacturing and we can train him on this. This is very intuitive. He can start running complex 5-axis parts right away.
Yeah.
So
perfect.
We're very excited about that.
Let's go ahead and slide over to this a bit. That all makes sense to me, and what a wonderful way to go about technology, Bob. I mean,
oh, yeah.
You guys Hwacheon are always leading the way. You were the first machine tool company out of Korea. I mean, and knowing that, being that leadership, you say, you know what, let's just keep going. Let's just keep making the best of the best,
That's
right?
what I love about Hwacheon. They're always developing, they're always bringing out new technology to the market, and they try to be a leader in those industries. So here we have an example of some of the parts that we go after. Semicon, like I said, you know, that's starting to reshore into the US and more and more investment moving into the semiconductor market. This is a chamber for the semiconductor, very high precision component. And we do this on our horizontal, which we're going to take a look at. Also, in the automotive industry, we are one of the leaders in tire mold technology. We're a leader in die and mold. And here we have a full package to manufacture tire molds. And then your favorite part over there, the last one.
That shower head style.
The shower head, you know, over 3,000 holes in this part, and they even go higher. And this is ideal. We actually designed our machines around this technology.
Well, you're definitely hitting the industries that are, I mean, they're all important, don't get me wrong there, but when you think semicon, when you think automotive, when you think shower head, I mean, the difficulty that comes into each of these components and the importance as well, that's why you've structured these machines and able to be able to take on these tasks. Knowing this one firsthand, programming machines and parts like this myself with tens of thousands of holes, I know the struggle that can go into making sure a hole that small doesn't break the end mill after about 300 of them, right?
Right.
And understanding how your machines work so well, you mentioned 20,000 RPM, to make sure that by going up that high and be able to run 24/7 when necessary, not lose any of your torque or horsepower by having that type of high RPM. This is the bonus that gets to the intricacies of the tire molds, the holes that go into these shower heads, and still the rigidity is there to plow through the semicon work.
Right, exactly. I mean, Hwacheon engineers all their machines for a purpose from the foundation up. And that's a good point because we make the foundation, meaning the castings. So we're engineering everything in there. Chairman Kwan one time told me, that he's trying to make the perfect machine. Of course, that's very difficult.
That is difficult.
But that's the goal. That's why we build our machines so robust and dynamic to hit those markets.
They say that maybe nothing is perfect, but if you're getting darn close, Hwacheon is that darn close. I mean, we're working on perfection. And speaking of perfection, we have a US world release here. Now, I had a great opportunity to see something like this ahead of time.
Yes.
I did get to, thank you for taking me to Korea, by the way. One of my favorite countries on the planet, truly. The culture, the people, the food, the music, the style, I mean, all of it there. And then you get to go to the machines as well to see the foundry, how they're made. I mean, what a great gift it was for me.
Sure.
So let's talk about this machine and what's going on.
I'm very excited about this machine. You know, Hwacheon's been making machines since 1945. It started a long time ago. They also made a line of horizontals, but we backed away and then we went after the big heavy-duty horizontals. So we built an H6 and an H8. We did an interview at Wemco. They have a monster H8 doing hard machining on there. But we wanted to go after a certain market. Again, I'm going to use that word, semicon. And we had a customer who said, hey, I need this type of machine for the semicon industry. And we talked to him at length. We listened again to the customer, very important, and we developed the AF4. This machine is a home run. I love this machine, and we expect big things to come from it. It's a 400 millimeter horizontal, high-speed spindle, designed for high dynamics, 1G. It's a super machine, and it's compact. So floor space is a premium.
For sure.
It really is. And these machines can be standalone or completely fully automated with a Hwacheon HMP system. Different options for hydraulic, pneumatic clamping. I mean, it's ready to go for that high production type of customer.
What I want to talk about, Bob, if it's okay with you, is you just described to me a reason why, if I understand how wonderful horizontal machining is and what horizontal machining can do for me and why I want to invest in horizontal machining, then the Hwacheon machine might be the machine for me, right? You described the advancements of it. But let's take a moment to talk to an audience out there who's still doing 3-axis vertical machining and say, this is maybe why you want to consider horizontal machining as well. Let's talk about the benefits of chip flush and coolant flush and the better finishes and letting gravity do some of that work and tombstone changes, anything that comes to the horizontal world to say, look, for all of you folks out there who are looking to get a better price point on your parts, who are looking to get better cycle times on your parts, who are looking to do more within a 24-hour period, maybe look into the horizontal machining world. Let's talk about just that general overview.
Yeah. Well, it all starts from the foundation, how we designed the machine again. We have a chip trough down the center, so you don't have augers in there. Mostly you're machining like aluminums and so forth, so a lot of chip volume.
Yes.
And you have
sticky
to dispose,
chips too.
Yeah, and you have to dispose of those chips. So we designed that machine with that center conveyor system to pull those chips out of there fast. But not only that, we have flushing throughout the machine. So we call it like a Niagara flush. So it's a sealing shower system. You got high pressure coolant coming through the spindle. You have high pressure coolant on the headstock itself. So a lot of times chips will pile up on there and they generate heat.
Yeah.
You want to get them off of the machine as quickly as possible. So this machine, no chip traps. It's out of there. So very important for the high volume machining.
Yeah, very, very well said. Now, just to give a little sneak peek for everyone watching, are we going to have another video on specifics of this machine for people who have more questions?
Sure.
Yes, we are. All right, let's slide on over to the next one. I believe we're doing graphite over here, right?
Yes.
And I see a ton of automation with Aroa.
Absolutely. One of our themes here is automation. So all of our machines are automation ready. This particular machine, again, we are one of the leaders in mold and die, right? And part of mold and die is EDM work, electrode machining, or even component machining for the different industries. This one is a true graphite machine, right? It's not a vertical machining center where you attach a vacuum system on there. It's designed from the bottom up to remove graphite very quickly. When you look inside the machine, people are surprised. Hey, it's not dirty. You know, that
was going to be my question. You beat me to it. I am going to follow up with that, by the way.
Yeah. So it's pressurized, it pulls that graphite right out of there. It's perfect for automation, as you can see. So when I bring in this model, we have the auto door system on there, and we have our partner Aroa here with their palletized system for electrode machining or part machining in the automated solution. I mean, you can even hook up the EDM, so we'll take the raw electrode, put it in our machine it, and then the Aroa will take it and transfer it right into the EDM. So a fully automated system for your electro manufacturing.
All right, Bob, I got to go right back to that point you made, which I think is a valuable point. The audience knows me from traveling the world a lot of times with you guys, but I see graphite everywhere being machined, and sometimes I see it with coolant, and there's mud, a thick mud. Sometimes I see the dust everywhere, and I hear from so many folks out there, so many machine shops, my bearings are getting ripped apart, my table's falling apart, my spindle gets ripped, because the dust of graphite just destroys things. But you're right, when I look at your machines, I'm not seeing these same issues. What have you done to fix that?
Well, first of all, it's designed with a positive air pressure. We have the vacuum ports at the back of the machine. You have air curtains along the spindle and the upper rail, and we're keeping all that graphite out. And with that positive airflow going right out the back of the machine, it stays clean. One other point I wanted to mention, this is our Pro model. This is a high precision graphite machine. We also make a standard one, which for 90% of the market is fine. But we had some customers, again, we listened to the customer. They needed something more high precision for a special electrode. So we developed the Pro model.
There's a lot of people making electrodes out there, so a machine like this, I imagine, is extremely popular. I mean, we have to have a reliable machine in the graphite world. The last thing I want to ask before we slide on over to our vertical center over there, which I love, by the way, is when it comes to graphite, a lot of times you're running smaller diameter tools that need higher RPM. What's the RPM on this machine?
This is a 24,000 RPM. Which is absolutely fine for a lot of the applications. Sometimes people want, 40,000 RPM, but it's really not necessary in many of the applications. So 24,000 is absolutely
I see people dragging along at 10, 12K, and I'm like, you have to double that, at least, you know what I mean? So you're right, 24K is a great way to go about graphite. All right, let's slide on over to the other machine, vertical turning. Now, Bob, I'm a big fan of vertical turning because I've walked in machine shops. You said it earlier on the machine, the horizontal machine over there, when you mentioned floor space at a premium. I've been into shops like Voss and Wheels with you guys talking about floor space being a premium. We all know when we're doing turning and we're doing turning horizontally, that takes up space. Sometimes we throw on bar feeds, which add extra space. I've been into shops where they've cut walls and the bar feeds are sticking outside of their machine shop in order to find space. Vertical turning has so many benefits, from floor space to gravity, holding heavier parts, to coolant flush, to chips flush, and sometimes even if you have to clamp too hard, it'll bow a part up, and this allows you to take gravity and allow it to sit and clamp it down without having to worry about over forcing it, right? I mean, vertical turning is a way to go.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Many times it is overlooked. I went into one of my customers and he's got these 12-inch parts, they're slugs, and he's trying to put them in the horizontal machine. They got an overhead. I said, what are you doing?
Back's hurting, trying to lift it up.
Vertical turning is the way to go. And a lot of times it's the mentality of the customer. He only thinks horizontal, but vertical has a place in every single shop. This happens to be a very different machine. This is our VT 650, my most popular machine in the market. You saw them at Voss and Wheel. We have them throughout the United States, but this one says YMC.
So we're getting something more here.
Yeah, we're getting a Y-axis in the column. So typically you see a little Y-axis, maybe a little servo motor mounted on the tool itself, but not this one. This is like a vertical machining center. So it's a column traveling, and so you can do complex, as you can see on this part,
it's incredible.
Complex milling and turning. So it has a great advantage. One other thing you'll notice on our VT series, no cross slide. A lot of the VTs have a cross slide, and that interferes with the workpiece many times, so you get a smaller turning diameter.
Right.
And also it's a heck of a chip trap too. Everything here is vertical wall, so the chip removal is superior on these designed by Hwacheon.
Close to perfection, you might say.
Absolutely, absolutely.
All right, my friend.
One other point I
love learning from you. I always stick around all day. Forget this. We got Eddie coming up next. We're just going to skip him.
It says MG. That means there's a tool magazine built on. So now I can change out those long boring bars that interfere with the workpiece out of the machine. It's through a Capto system, so we can change tools in the fixed turret.
And in a lot of situations, that's fixated, right? Which creates also another smaller workpiece sometimes, or a long tool creates distraction.
Absolutely, absolutely. Another benefit.
There's so many. I believe we could go on and on and on. Let's continue this tour. I'm actually going to pass you off to my good friend, Mr. Eddie Saunders right now, Bob. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate the time, the learning. Yeah. Eddie, good luck, my friend. You're in good hands with this man. He knows everything about everything when it comes to Hwacheon. This family-focused company loves partnerships and the machines to back it up. First machine tool out of Korea in the whole world, and they just, from that time till now, continue to seek perfection. So have some fun.
Hey, fun is what we have, Bob. Hopefully you got warmed up talking about the little machines. Now we're here by the big ones, and I've been excited to talk about this. Now let me tell you, always been a fan of horizontal turning. I don't know what about it. It's fascinating to me. But then I saw this, and this is just next level. Like what's going on here, man? Tell me everything.
Well, this is our high-tech series. The high-tech series is a box-way horizontal turning center. And we start with our high-tech 230, which is a 8 and 10-inch chuck lathe. You know, very standard. We can build them out just as 2-axis lathes, go all the way to Y-axis, so you have a YMC, or you put a sub-spindle on there, and now you got a YSMC. So the full package, right? But that's on our small side. Then you jump up to the next frame size, which is the high-tech 450. And then we jump up again, a high-tech 550. And then we jump to this one. This is the 650, and it's a behemoth of a machine. So.
It is, and it is beautiful, putting in the work. Now, I had a gentleman that was over here looking at it. He said, I've never seen anything like this. Why do people say that about this machine?
First thing that they see is, you know, the robustness of the machine. It's very rigid. This is a 21-inch chuck. We have varying chuck sizes. But the steady rest on here, so you're doing massive shaft work. Then we have different bed lengths as well, so we can accommodate longer shafts. This one doesn't have a sub-spindle anymore. It's too big of a part for a sub-spindle, so we have a massive tailstock that is basically a drag and drop style, so very, very functional for different size shafts. And then you'll notice over here, this cutout. Actually, all your long boring bars, if you have this short tool and you want to get up to the face of the chuck, you're going to crash that boring bar into the machine. So we provide that cutout in the machine, so all the long tools can fit inside there, and you can still do work at the chuck end of the workpiece.
Solving problems before they happen,
Absolutely.
Being preventative, because Lord knows nobody wants to get really towards the end of their part, almost into that cycle, and then they're crashing, break, and have to restart. And a part like this, you don't want to scrap this at all.
No, not at all. Not
exactly.
At all.
So
very expensive parts going on these larger machines. But you know something? This is only my medium size. I have two more bigger ones, the high-tech 750, and I have a high-tech 850 that goes out to 5 meters long. So this machine could fit inside the 850.
You're gonna be parking vehicles in this next? I love the capability, love the sizing, but knowing that, this isn't the only big machine you have here. So before we translate over, what else is just magical about this unit that we need to know?
The power in the machine.
That.
Yeah, there's a gearbox spindle on this machine, so you have ample torque to really do some heavy-duty turning. Of course, it's a slant box way here, so again, you have all that strength in the machine. There's no weldment here. This is all cast iron from our foundries. We make everything on the machine. Even the chuck is from a Hwacheon partner, Seom, which is owned by the Hwacheon family. And the turret body, the tailstock, we make it all. including the sheet metal.
A complete solution even of this size, that's definitely something to be able to brag about, saying that you make it pretty much from part to part and really be able to bring that capability. This is wonderful stuff to be able to know about such a large machine that is infinitely fascinating. But I know this machine behind us, you ready to go walk on over to check this one out?
Yeah.
So this is the big bad boy. We're seeing massive spindle work here. We're doing a vertical turning. So what's the difference? Let's pop on back here, let's check this out a little bit. What are we seeing here, man?
Well, this is, again, a debut for our larger vertical turning. So this is a 1650, our newest model. It's a 65-inch chuck, so massive. And we make them bigger, right? We always make them bigger, one size larger.
Because why not, right?
Right.
There's always bigger parts to be had out there, right?
No, vertical, I really love vertical turning. I showed you the 650, my #1 selling machine, and now more and more Hwacheon is selling these larger Ram style machines. Mm-hmm. The big difference here, open this door up a little.
There you go, big old door to move to see this massive part. What's happening here, man?
Okay, so this is a little bit a different type of machine. So it's a vertical with a Ram style, so your Ram is moving up and down. But that sometimes will be a limitation. You want to get the rail as close as possible to the workpiece and get the Ram out. So we have a W axis that's actually servo driven. We have dual drives. So you have 2 axes here. You got the Ram and the W axis. Gives you a lot more flexibility when you're doing these large parts. Could be a tall part, could be a smaller part like this, although that's not a small part.
Yeah, you call that a small part? I'd love to know what you have in full size, but go ahead, please. This is great.
You have easy access through here. We have the Ram over here, you can see. We can do different tool changes through the Ram. We actually have the turning tool heads that mount up inside the Ram, or for live tooling, we have a 50 taper in the center. And so that's a live spindle as well for drilling holes or doing some milling application on the machine.
So knowing this has lots of capability in space as well as at the spindle, where do you think this machine really shines?
It's in the power. In the power, we have a patented system on our drive and our C-axis. It's got a lot of torque. And the capability of the C-axis, many times the C-axis is limited, and they say, okay, for example, oh, this is a 15-ton machine, but when you turn the C-axis, you can only do 4-ton. Where Hwacheon is a little bit different. We can do the maximum C-axis milling or positioning, plus still have a behemoth part. So it's really in the spindle technology here. And the cross rail with the dual drive system for your W axis, which makes us unique from everyone else.
Really interesting because you're providing so much power while also having lots of capability and that movement, which sometimes is like you can't get all 3, like pick 2 or pick 1. And this boasts a variety. So are there any specific applications where you feel this really does the best and is a true industry leader in that specific category?
Well, it's large part heavy industry, right? These cylinders, vessels, could even be engine components for jet engines and so forth. Pumps, this happens to be like a valve housing, air compressors, the whole 9 yards. So heavy industry, heavy industry.
Yeah, wonderful stuff. Be able to see this move the way that it moves. Hey, and speaking of moving, we're not done yet. We got a couple more machines to highlight. You ready to head to the next one?
Oh, by the way,
what's up?
I did mention this is a small machine. We make them bigger
small
than
one?
this.
I can only imagine. I can only imagine. Well, let's head on over because we've covered some smaller capabilities. We've got the large machines. We're going to head over here where I'm seeing multiple spindles turning, and I've got all kinds of questions. Let's pop over here on this side and let me know what we got to see. We got the I2, man. What's going on here? What do we need to know?
Well, this is our debut machine as well. We had the AF4 on the horizontal. Now we have the I2. This is a true turn mill with a full 5-axis B-axis head on there. So it's an 8-inch match spindles, so they're both 8-inch chuck spindles, and you have that full 5-axis capability. So you're doing complex parts. Over here, I think we're showing this part right here, an aircraft blisk. And that's a very complex part, but it's a one and done. So you're taking the raw material, you start machining op A, and the spindle transfer it, and you machine op B, and you got a complete part. So complex machining, very complex machining. But mostly, you know, on the turning side, you have the 5-axis machines, but here you can do all the turning and the milling at the same time.
Which we're just stacking up capabilities. When I saw this earlier, I'm like, hold on, that's a spindle going, that's a spindle going, that's a spindle going, and rotating and doing all types of crazy things. So I'm very curious, what was the primary selection when it comes to this specific demo? You said it's got that intricate type of movement, but I'm curious, let's dive a little bit deeper, because you could pick any type of part essentially to do on this type of machine. Why this?
Well, this one has, it will show the capability of that 5-axis. Typically, you would see this just on a horizontal or a vertical 5-axis machine. But you can see there's turn surface as well. So that means you're going to take it to 2 different machines. Here, it's a one and done. So you're handling the part less and more efficient, and it's complete.
Right, complete, which is what a lot of individuals are looking for. So let's unpack that layer just a tad. So knowing that you're here trying to change manufacturing, make it easier on the operators, how does this machine do just that?
Well, number one, we have, again, the harmony control.
Let's talk about this. What are we seeing?
So here they're simply doing some tool offsets through the harmony control. Again, it's got its built-in CAD/CAM system, so we can program right from the screen, and crash protection. This machine is a very complex machine, and you don't want to crash this one. So we have that anti-crash system built into the machine. And the nice thing is you can take from print to complete workpiece right at the machine. You don't have to go offline and try to engineer the cutter path. It will be all done right at the machine. Now, we do have the option where you can take the harmony and put it on your PC and work at your desk and then transfer the program over. But you have the best of both worlds here.
Which makes sense, because they can do everything they need primarily from what I'm hearing at the machine. They're handling the part less. They are having to travel less from going to go here, this spot, this spot. It seems as if there's this stacking layers of convenience that you're providing to the operators. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, exactly. All the way, to the ergonomics of the machine. You can see it's a very compact machine. The operator can get right up to the spindles, and the tool changer is right here in front of them. You don't have to go to the back of the machine and load up your magazine. It's all right here. Your convenience of your harmony control for programming, your ergonomics for the operator, and the tool setup, all right at your disposal.
It's almost like this machine was intentionally designed to better manufacturers' lives. That's what I keep hearing. So
absolutely,
this is wonderful. And knowing this, you said debut machine, lots of capability. What else do we need to know? How is this really driving change in manufacturing before we round things off?
Well, come to the booth and talk to one of our RSMs. We have show specials going on the machine. We're ready to enter the market with this machine. It's a proven machine. We have them in the field, and we're ready to go. And we're ready to expand the product line as well.
Clearly prepared and clearly setting everyone up to succeed. But hey, setting us up, we have one more operation we're setting up. We're going to rock over. We've seen big machines. We've seen smaller machines. We've seen horizontal turning. We've seen vertical turning. So I'd like to say maybe we've seen it all, but you're about to prove me wrong right now, aren't you?
Absolutely.
Okay, man. Hey, without further ado, let's check out the surprise. I need to know everything, man. I'm seeing some automation here. What is this?
Remember when we started out, I showed the M1. That was my high precision. It went after the medical market, defense market, and so forth. But there's also a market for general purpose 5-axis. So we made the D series. So we have the M series and the D series.
Okay.
We have a very popular machine, the D2, that it's a 600 millimeter 5-axis vertical machining center. This is our D3. Again, a larger envelope. We're talking about an 800 millimeter machine here, full 5-axis. You can get them with a 0-eye control or the 31i B5 from Fanuc. The 0i will give you the capability of 4+1, which is 90% of the 5-axis market anyways. But a lot of people want that full simultaneous 5-axis, so we do the 31i-B5. So the control's loaded, right? Here you can see we're using a Fanuc control. It's the plus version. I believe this is a 0i plus control. So it's going to give you that 4+1 capability. But we can also put the Harmony on here as well. So you can get that crash protection, that easy programming for 5-axis on there. You can see here it's a very large working envelope, very robust machine, so heavy machining. This happens to be a 12,000 RPM spindle, 50 horsepower, by the way, that's not bad. But what we're also showing here is automation. Machine is automation ready. So we have a side door. Of course, you can automate it through the front if you wanted to, but we have an automatic side door, and we partnered up with one of our great dealers, Productivity, and they have their own automation division, and they developed a complete robot cell. So we can change fixtures, we can change workpieces automatically through the machine. Very simple setup and capability, giving you tons of flexibility. When it comes to 5-axis, yeah, sometimes you just need, you know, 1-piece, 2-piece, but when you get into production, you have a solution here with automation.
I continue to hear a trend of less part handling,
yes,
less movement, less of everything that machinists and operators around the world are trying to do less of, and you are taking care of the things that they need done more. Yeah. So knowing this, we've covered lots of capability, but what excites you the most about this unit, this cell, and this machinery?
I know I'm going to say it again, but the robustness. This is a beast. There are a lot of machines that you'll see here on the floor at IMTS, but when you look at this mass, it's heavy duty. So we can do some power machining here, some roughing capability, but also precision.
There we go.
High precision coming off of this machine. We do some unique things on the machine. For example, this is a ram style, so the whole Y-axis moves out on a rail, but we support that. So there's no droop. A lot of these 5-axis machines, they'll come out and they'll slowly droop because of that extension of the Y-axis, where ours is supported all the way past the center. So it's very rigid and high accuracy.
So when you're speaking to the robustness, the rigidity of the machine, with all that capability, I know sometimes it can take away from the effectiveness of all those capabilities. Where do you feel this machine is strong when it comes to the variety of applications that it can perform?
Well, again, I'll go back to the power. You know, we designed this rotary tilt table. So it's our design, it's our technology built into it. And you can turn it 90 degrees and then put a large tap where you need a lot of rigidity and it'll just plow right through it. So that capability, you know, when you're moving those different axes around, you really need a stable machine. Our machine has spindle technology. It has the thermal displacement compensation built into it. So this machine, plus minus 4 microns on the spindle growth. But not only that, we're watching what the frame is doing as well. So when you're doing 5-axis parts, you know, and you're rotating and you're trying to match a bore going from one side to the other side, you better have an accurate machine. And that's where this machine really plays it.
Which makes sense, because nobody likes driving a big tap that's not cheap into an almost finished part, breaking it and starting over. But hey, here with Hwacheon, that's a thing of the past for the most part, so I dig that. So we've talked, again, vertical, we're talking horizontal turning, big machines, small, we're talking microns of accuracy, all of this. What is the final message that you are trying to scream from the mountaintops with all of this machinery here today?
Well, these machines, like my chairman told me, you know, he's trying to build the perfect machine. They're really passionate about their machine tools. They really look at the quality. I like to say sometimes our service engineers are like the Maytag, I think it was, where they never get called on a service. Same thing here. I mean, these machines, the cost of ownership is so low on these machines. These machines are made to last. That goes back into their design and how they build the machine. They're using quality components in all their machines. Nobody, low-cost vendor on the market gets the order. No, we only go to the premium products. We design our own spindles. We build our own spindles. It all goes into controlling that quality so the end user is happy.
There we go. And amazed we have been checking out all these wonderful machines here in this beautiful venue with the stage being set. Hey everybody, this is Eddie with MTD CNC. We'll see you next time.